Hey, it's Hammer Time! Special episode of Hammer Time. We have Tim Phillips, the head honcho, the president and CEO of Americans for Prosperity, here with us from the swamp area. Tim, welcome to Arizona.
Absolutely. And with that introduction, I'm a grassroots guy. Come on.
And you're in Phoenix. It's August. I hope you'll attest. It is really a dry heat.
I want full props for this. I don't just come here in January or February, Glenn. I come in the dead of August, all right? But it is a dry heat. 114 here is more comfortable than my home state of South Carolina when it's 95 with humidity at 25,000%. So it is a dry heat.
Well, and I'm going to share this with my high school weather club buddies because it's true. You came out here for a very, very important purpose. Your organization has been doing just yeoman's work when it comes to building bipartisan support for immigration reform.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about why this is such an important initiative for Americans for Prosperity?
Our immigration reform system is broken. It's not working for our nation. It's not working for the folks who would like to try to come here. And we need to fix it. Both parties over the years have failed on this. They both own it, frankly. This isn't a partisan thing. They both failed. But now's a chance for them, frankly, to get it right. And so we're working. We meet with the Trump administration on a consistent basis. And Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, is interested in this issue very much so. We're working with groups of Democrats, and there is some common ground here.
What's some of the common ground?
I think there's a broad support. I know according to the polling data and from traveling this country, there's broad support for genuinely securing the border. Because, for long-term prosperity, for the rule of law to succeed, you need to be able to control your borders. And I think there's broad support for that. There's also broad support for finding a way to certainty for dreamers. And by that, we would urge citizenship, but just a way to give them certainty. We were talking today with some dreamers, and they're great people contributing to our nation who brought here as children, and we need to bring certainty there. So I think for those two areas, there's broad agreement. This is not an easy issue. I don't make any bones about that, but we think it's doable.
Well, your organization, the Libre Initiative, has been best in class in terms of really telling those stories of the DACA population and the dreamers. And we've got about 30,000 dreamers in Arizona, huge economic
I've met
impact.
some of them, absolutely.
And what they've accomplished is amazing. And I think it's important to point out, I believe the average age of a dreamer coming to the United States is 6 years old.
And also with the broad scope of our nation, and this is something that my hero, Ronald Reagan, often talked about. In fact, he launched his 1980 presidential campaign from in front of the Statue of Liberty. And he quoted the famous words about, give us people from across the world who want to be here and yearn to be free. And so our nation is a nation of immigrants. Fortune 500 companies headquartered in 33 states were founded by immigrants. They have over 12.8 million employees, these companies across the world. And immigration is not only about compassion. I mean, it's partly that. But candidly, it's about the health and the vitality of our nation, Glenn. We need immigration. We have over 3.5 million jobs that are unfilled in this country, even at a time when unemployment's down to 3.5–4%. We need immigration to help sustain prosperity.
The energy and the regeneration that immigrants provided this country. I'm married to an immigrant from Israel, and just one of the things that I've learned is just the love for the United States. Her family lives in LA, and they buy out every American flag for the 4th of July, and that's a common theme with immigrants who come to this country, and they just want to contribute.
Glenn, I was in Orlando with one of our Libre operations in Florida last year, and we were doing citizenship training, helping folks who were here on that pathway to citizenship. The oldest person in that class was a 72-year-old lady from Colombia who was on her pathway to citizenship. And I said, why is it that this is so important to you? And she said, I want freedom. I want to be a part of the freest country on earth. People want to be free. They want to contribute to our country. They want to be Americans. And that's a good thing. And this is at a time when our nation needs that vitality. We're getting older as a country. We are.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we are. We're getting older, and we need the renewal of immigration. But frankly, that's what our nation's always been about.
Yeah. No, I think as long as we could get, if this country can continue to attract the best and the brightest and the hardest working people, we could overcome some of the other policy mistakes that are difficult.
The polling tells us, and when we're out there across this country with our activists, the country wants to see its political class fix this issue. You know, we haven't had fundamental immigration reform since, I think, 1965. That's a long time to go without fixing the visa system, which is a shambles, without trying to look at the immigration numbers for legal immigration and changing those, hopefully increasing them to reflect a population that's now over 350 million people across this country.
I look at immigration, the visa system, it's almost, to me, feels a little bit regulatory. And if we could have that energy, both in Congress and the administration, to fix it so it works, whether it's high tech or agriculture or anywhere in between, we would all benefit greatly.
The current visa system is antiquated. It doesn't reflect the current realities of business, unemployment, employers on the ground across this country. It doesn't reflect that. It's simply a top-down, push-down approach without any feedback, without any, the idea that we can still be under a system that's basically 5 decades old, given how fast the rate of innovation and change and entrepreneurship is happening, it's crazy. And so we've got to have the visa system fixed. I see that. I was in Iowa last week with some of the pork producers and then with some of the farmers there. And it's constantly causing headaches for them. I was talking to Stephen Shadig. He was telling me about some of the examples here in Arizona of the visas and how just a disaster they are and how they don't make any sense, these top-down rules. So we've got to get that fixed. And here's what I would urge business folks and frankly just Americans across the board. Tell the political class that they expect results here. That that both parties own failure over the decades. They do, and so this isn't a partisan blame game. It really isn't. And let's get this fixed. And by the way, I would be remiss. You mentioned the tax reform that we had in 2017. This administration and the Republican Congress, because it was all Republicans who did that. I wish Democrats had joined, but they didn't. Those tax reforming cuts are a crucial reason this economy is doing pretty darn well now. And the other thing is this effort to get rid of needless regulation and red tape. And the administration has been dogged about that across the board, whether it's the EPA, the Department of Energy, the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board, or any alphabet soup of federal agencies. The administration, to their credit, has genuinely worked to get rid of job-killing regulation and red tape.
You mentioned, Tim, you're part of the Jared Kushner group.
Yes.
Can you give a little bit of insights into that, just briefly?
Yeah. Jared Kushner launched first he launched this criminal justice reform effort out of the White House back from the very beginning. We became a part of that, ended up getting the First Step Act, which was a crucial victory for criminal justice reform on the pathway. Over the last year, he's had an immigration working group working out of the White House. It's brought together groups like Libre and Americans for Prosperity, Republican senators, Democrat congressional members, center-left groups, to use a term, groups that maybe are not traditional allies of the administration.
Spectrum.
Yeah, and they're genuinely trying to find a solution. And I think the first part of it is, let's agree on 4 or 5 key premises or foundational aspects of the law, of what a reform law would look like, and let's go from there. That's what we're urging them. It's not easy. We know that, and it's fraught. This issue is fraught with demagoguery on both sides, from a lot of different people. But we are encouraged that there are folks of goodwill on the both sides who do want to deal.
If the group could bring in Ivanka Trump and all the great stuff she's been doing on workforce,
yeah, she's good.
I really feel it all comes together. And I just want to thank you, Tim. You've got a great team on the ground here. We really appreciate all of your great work on immigration reform, and we look forward to working with you and getting something over the finish line.
Let's get this done.
Thank you, Tim.
You bet.